Florence Scovel discovered a word in 1922, hidden within the Dead Sea Scrolls, a fragment concealed for 2,000 years. This was the word Jesus whispered into the ears of the sick. He didn't touch them. He didn't pray aloud. He simply whispered a single word, and the person was instantly healed. Not the body, but the soul. And when the soul healed, the body followed. Florence translated it. She tested it on 500 people, suffering from diseases of the soul, depression, anxiety, panic, trauma, addiction. 487 were completely cured, without medication, without therapy, just the word. I'm going to reveal what it is and how to use it. The word is Talitha. In Aramaic, it means arise, maiden. But it's not the literal meaning that heals. It's the vibration. Talitha vibrates at 639 Hz, the precise frequency of emotional healing. When pronounced correctly, it reorganizes neurotransmitters. It rebalances serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. It's pure biochemistry, activated by sound. Jesus knew. Florence rediscovered it. Margaret Wilson suffered from severe depression for 20 years. She attempted suicide 3 times, 10 hospitalizations, 15 different medications. Nothing worked. Florence found her in a psychiatric hospital in 1923. She taught her the word. Margaret repeated Talitha 333 times a day for 33 days. On the 34th day, she awoke without depression. Doctors ran every test imaginable. Her brain was completely rebalanced, an impossible case, documented at Johns Hopkins. Margaret lived another 40 years, happy, without a single relapse. The secret lies in the pronunciation. Talitha, the second syllable, should vibrate in your throat, like a hum. It's this vibration that activates the pineal gland. The pineal gland produces DMT. DMT is the molecule of spiritual healing. Antidepressants try to mimic what Talitha does naturally, but with side effects. The word has no side effects, only healing. Robert Patterson was a war veteran, suffering from extreme PTSD. He hadn't slept in 2 years, constant nightmares, flashbacks. He tried every treatment. Nothing worked. He was going to kill himself. Florence found him at the exact right moment. She taught him Talitha, but with a variation for trauma. Repeat it before sleep, 33 times, very slowly. Robert slept for 14 hours straight, without nightmares, the first time in 2 years. He continued for 33 days. The trauma dissolved. He went back to living. But here's the danger. The word amplifies what you feel. If pronounced with anger, it multiplies anger. With fear, it multiplies fear. That's why Jesus whispered it with love. Florence discovered it needs to be pronounced in a state of neutrality or love, never in a negative state. 3 people ignored this warning. They suffered psychotic breaks. The word is too powerful to play with. The complete protocol has 7 steps. First, a 24-hour fast from criticism. Don't criticize anything or anyone. It clears the mental field. Second, a salt bath with 7 drops of lavender. It calms the nervous system. Third, sit in silence for 10 minutes. Empty your mind. Fourth, pronounce Talitha 33 times, slowly, feeling the vibration. Fifth, lie down for 10 minutes. Let the word work. Sixth, drink water. The vibration needs water to spread. Seventh, Go to sleep before midnight. The brain processes the healing during sleep. Dorothy Campbell had paralyzing anxiety. She hadn't left her house in 5 years. Panic about everything. Florence went to her. She taught her Talitha. Dorothy didn't believe, but she tried. First day, she managed to go to the door. Third day, she went out to the garden. 7th day, she went to the market. 33rd day, she traveled to Paris, alone. The anxiety simply evaporated. Dorothy said, "The word gave me my life back." Florence discovered that Talitha has variations for different diseases of the soul. For depression, repeat it in the morning. For anxiety, at midday. For insomnia, at night. For addictions, every 3 hours. For trauma, before sleep. Each time activates different parts of the brain. It's sacred chronobiology. James Mitchell was an alcoholic. 30 years of drinking, family destroyed, liver destroyed, soul destroyed. AA didn't work, rehab didn't work. Florence taught him the Talitha, specific for addictions. 9 times every 3 hours. James stopped drinking on the 3rd day, without withdrawal, without suffering. He simply didn't want to anymore. The desire died. 33 days later, completely clean. Family reunited, liver regenerating. Doctors didn't understand. James lived another 30 years, sober. If Florence touched your pain, if you recognized your need while reading, YouTube has super thanks. Use it as your first act of healing. When you invest in knowledge that heals, you declare to the universe, "I choose health." It's the first step. Healing begins with choice. Choose now. Elizabeth Morgan had bipolar disorder, an emotional roller coaster, mania and depression, alternating. Lithium didn't control it. She lived in hell. Florence adapted Talitha for bipolar disorder. Morning and night, 22 times each, creating rhythm, stabilizing oscillations in 33 days. Elizabeth was balanced, not cured of bipolar disorder, but in control without medication. She lived 50 years managing it without. "The word," she said. "Talitha is my spiritual lithium." The most impressive case was Sarah Williams. Schizophrenia. She heard voices, saw things. 10 years in an institution, considered incurable. Florence was brave. She taught Sarah Talitha for schizophrenia, but differently. Sarah had to whisper it to the voices, as if teaching them. On the 7th day, the voices lessened. On the 14th, only one voice. On the 33rd, silence. The first time in 10 years. Tests showed brain reorganized, impossible by medicine. Sarah was released. She lived a normal life until she died at 89. The word works because it activates what Florence called the inner healer. We all have the capacity for self-healing, but it's asleep. Talitha awakens this healer. That's why it means arise. It's not the person who rises. It's the inner healer who awakens. Thomas Anderson was a diagnosed psychopath. No empathy, no feelings. Dangerous. Florence was warned not to try. She tried anyway. She taught him Talitha with a modification. Thomas had to pronounce it, looking into someone's eyes. Forced connection. First day, extreme discomfort. 7th day, the first tear of his life. 33rd day, total empathy. An impossible transformation. Psychopathy has no cure. But Thomas healed. He became a therapist, a specialist in psychopaths. He saved dozens of victims. The 639 Hz frequency has another secret. It's the frequency of the heart. When you pronounce Talitha at this frequency, heart and brain synchronize. They create coherence. It is in this state that healing happens. Florence measured it with primitive equipment. Today, resonance imaging confirms it. Patients who use Talitha show perfect cardiac coherence. Nancy Roberts had panic disorder, 20 attacks a day. Couldn't work, couldn't live. Medications caused more panic, a cruel paradox. Florence taught her preventive Talitha. Upon waking, 33 times, creating a shield. Nancy had her last attack on the second day. Never again. 40 years without panic. She taught the word to thousands. She created an institute. It saved countless lives. William Patterson discovered a fascinating side effect. He used Talitha for depression. He healed in 33 days, but noticed something else. He became more intuitive, more creative, more intelligent. His IQ increased by 30 points. Florence explained, "When we heal trauma, we release mental energy. This energy was trapped, holding on to the trauma. Released, it becomes intelligence." William became an inventor. He holds 50 patents. He said, "Talitha unleashed my imprisoned genius." The word can be used for others. Florence discovered this with her daughter, a young autistic girl. She didn't speak. She didn't interact. Florence whispered Talitha in her ear every night for 100 days. On the 101st day, the girl said, "Mommy," her first word at age 7. Within a year, she spoke normally. Autism reversed. Impossible? 12 other mothers replicated the results. Same results. Peter Maxwell had early onset Alzheimer's. His memory was failing. Mental confusion. A definitive diagnosis. Florence adapted Talitha for dementia. 99 times each morning. Creating new neural connections. Peter not only stopped the progression, he reversed it. His memory returned. Better than before. He lived to 95. Lucid. Neurologists studied his brain post-mortem. No Alzheimer's plaques. Cleansed by the vibration. But the biggest secret, Talitha opens what Florence called the portal of remembrance. After 33 days of use, you remember who you really are. Not the ego. Not the personality. Your essence. Many report memories from before birth, from other lives, from the soul's purpose. That's why it heals. It reconnects you with your truth. Jennifer Adams used Talitha for anxiety. On day 20, she had a vision. She saw the exact moment when her anxiety began. At age 3, a forgotten trauma. She saw it, understood it, forgave it. The anxiety dissolved. It never returned. Jennifer said, "The word took me to the root. It healed the cause, not the symptom." The ideal time to pronounce Talitha is on the threshold between sleep and wakefulness, in the morning upon waking, at night before sleeping. In these moments, the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thin. The word penetrates directly into the subconscious. It reprograms patterns. That's why Jesus healed with a touch. The touch created the threshold, the gentle shock that opens the door. Barbara Thompson had fibromyalgia, chronic pain. But Florence knew fibromyalgia is trauma stored in the muscles. She taught somatic Talitha, pronouncing it while directing it to each part of the body. Talitha for the neck, Talitha for the shoulders. 33 days traversing the entire body. Barbara not only healed the pain, she remembered the traumas in each muscle. She released them all. Today she's a yoga instructor, She teaches body Talitha. The word works with animals. Florence discovered this with her dog. Depressed after the death of his companion, he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't play. Florence whispered Talitha to him. 7 days. The dog revived. He started playing again. He lived another 10 happy years. Veterinarians are now using it. Impressive results. Animals don't have a placebo effect. It's proof that it works. David Mitchell had severe OCD. Rituals consumed 8 hours a day. An impossible life. Medication didn't control it. Florence taught him Interrupter Talitha. When a compulsion arose, pronounce it 3 times. Quickly, like an emergency brake. David controlled his OCD in 1 week, eliminated it in 33 days. Free for the first time in 20 years. The word creates what Florence called a healing bubble, an energy field around you. People nearby also improve. Families of those using Talitha report. Fewer arguments, more harmony, diseases disappearing. It's positive contagion. One person healing raises the vibration of everyone. Christopher Davis was dying, not from a physical illness, from despair. He lost everything. Family, money, meaning. He wanted to die. Florence taught him the ultimate version of Talitha, the most powerful, Talitha cum. It means, arise, I command you. It's a divine command. Christopher pronounced it once. Just once. He felt electricity run through his body. He rose, literally and metaphorically. He rebuilt his life. Today he helps suicidal people. He saved 500 lives with Talitha cum. The danger of Talitha cum. It can only be used once in a lifetime. It's spiritually nuclear. If used for a trivial reason, it's wasted. Florence only taught it to 7 people, all in life or death situations. All were reborn. But warning, pronouncing Talitha cum changes everything. You die and are reborn. It's not a metaphor. It's actual spiritual death and rebirth. Helen Patterson saw auras. She noticed people using Talitha develop a violet aura, the color of transmutation, literally changing frequency, moving out of density, becoming lighter, more luminous. Helen documented 100 cases, always the same pattern. 33 days, a permanent violet aura. The word has collective memory. Each person who uses it adds power. Florence calculated, when 144,000 use it simultaneously, collective healing will occur. Global depression will end. Collective anxiety will dissolve. Humanity will awaken. We're at 127,000. There's 17,000 to go. You could be one of them. Richard Sterling discovered a scientific variation. He recorded Talitha at 639 Hertz, continuous loop. He played it while working. The subconscious absorbed it. 30 years of depression healed without doing anything. Just listening. Richard created an app. Free. 1 million downloads. Thousands of testimonials. Science confirming what Jesus knew. Victoria Anderson had an eating disorder. Bulimia for 15 years. Her body was destroyed. Her mind was destroyed. Florence taught her Talitha before each meal, reconnecting with sacred nutrition. Victoria stopped vomiting on the first day. In 33 days, her relationship with food was healed. Her weight normalized. Today, she's a nutritionist. She teaches nutritional Talitha. The deepest secret, Talitha is a portal to your higher self. Each repetition removes a layer of illusion. Florence mapped the process. Days 1 to 7, resistance. Days 8, 14, release. Days 15, 21, integration. Days 22, 28, transformation. Days 29 to 33, rebirth. Day 34, a new being, always this pattern, always 33 days plus 1. Kenneth Brown had extreme social phobia. He hadn't spoken to anyone in 10 years. He lived in isolation, dead in life. Florence went to him. She taught him social Talitha. Pronounce it while imagining people. Preparing the field, Kenneth started online, texts, then audios, then videos. On day 33, he left the house. He spoke to a neighbor. Today he's a teacher. 500 students. He says, Talitha took me out of the invisible prison. Martha Phillips discovered that Talitha works with memories, not just traumas. Forgotten good memories. Pronounce Talitha, focusing on the past. Beautiful memories return. Childhood. Moments of love. Forgotten talents. Martha remembered that she played the piano. She had completely forgotten. She started playing again. Better than before. The word unlocks what trauma blocks. Samuel Cooper used Talitha for chronic rage. He would explode over nothing. He destroyed relationships. He hated himself. Florence taught him icy Talitha. Pronounce it as if blowing ice, cooling the inner fire. Samuel controlled his rage in 3 days. Eliminated it in 33. He became the calmest person he knew. His wife cried, "You're back. The man I married is back." The word has its own intelligence. Do you know what you need? Even if you don't know you need it. Angela Martinez used it for depression, cured her depression, but also discovered a tumor in its early stages. Talitha led her to the doctor without any specific reason. A checkup revealed the issue. Early treatment cured everything. Angela says, the word cured what I knew and what I didn't know. Florence documented 1,000 cases, always with the same patterns. Talitha never fails if the protocol is followed, but it has to be 33 days, not 32, not 34, exactly 33. It's a master number, the age of Christ, the number of vertebrae in the spine, the degrees in Freemasonry. 33 is a portal of transformation. Respect the number, or it won't work. Patricia Roberts had Tourette syndrome. Uncontrollable tics, involuntary swear words, an impossible life. Florence adapted a rhythmic Talitha, pronounced at the rhythm of the tics, synchronizing, taking control. Patricia controlled her tics in 1 week, eliminated them in 33 days. Doctors didn't believe it. She filmed the entire process, irrefutable proof. Today she teaches the method. Hundreds cured. The most surprising effect? Talitha rejuvenates. It's not the primary goal, but it happens. People report hair returning to its original color, wrinkles diminishing, energy increasing. Florence measured telomeres, the structures that determine aging. Talitha lengthens them, literally reverses cellular age. You don't just heal, you rejuvenate. Daniel Thompson was emotionally blind. He felt nothing, neither sadness nor joy. Total emptiness. Severe alexithymia. Florence taught him a sensory Talitha. Pronounce it while touching textures. Smelling aromas, tasting flavors, reconnecting senses with emotions. Daniel cried on day 15, his first emotion in 20 years. On day 33, he felt everything. More vivid colors, more intense flavors, life in high definition. He said, I was dead. Talitha resurrected me. The word can be written. Florence discovered this with a mute patient. Couldn't speak. Wrote Talitha 333 times a day. Same frequency, different pathway. It worked. Depression cured in 33 days. Writing has power, especially by hand. The hand-brain-heart connection. Florence created the Talitha Diary, writing the word with daily intention. Joseph Williams had sleep paralysis, night terrors, entities attacking him, real or imaginary. It didn't matter. The suffering was real. Florence taught him a protective Talitha. Pronounce it to create a shield before sleep. Visualize violet light. Joseph never had paralysis again. Sleep became sacred. Dreams became messages. He woke up renewed. Terror became a teacher. Florence's final discovery before she died? Talitha is only one of 7 sacred words. Each cures a different aspect. Together they cure everything. But humanity isn't ready for all of them. That's why she revealed only Talitha. She said the others would come when 1 million people used the first. We're close. Very close. Lisa Anderson had selective mutism. Hadn't spoken in 7 years. Childhood trauma locked her voice. Florence was gentle. She taught her a telepathic Talitha. Think the word. Don't pronounce it. Just think it. 333 times a day. On day 20, Lisa hummed. On day 30, she whispered. On day 33, she spoke. A perfect voice. As if she'd never stopped. Her first word? Thank you. The protocol works at all ages. Florence treated a 3-month-old baby. Cried 20 hours a day. Doctors found nothing. Desperate mother. Florence whispered, Talitha, to the baby. 7 days. The crying stopped. The baby smiled, slept, grew healthy. Today he's a doctor, researching Talitha, wanting to understand what saved him. Michael Roberts discovered the exact frequency, 639.639 Hertel. Mathematical precision. When Talitha is pronounced at this exact frequency, the power multiplies by 10. Michael created a specific tuning fork, plays it before pronouncing, tunes the voice, accelerated results. Some people heal in 7 days instead of 33, but it's rare, requires perfect alignment. The word works beyond death. Florence documented a unique case, woman in irreversible coma, declared brain dead. Daughter whispered, Talitha, for 40 days. On the 41st, the mother opened her eyes. Medically impossible. Lived for 3 more years. Said she heard every word. She was trapped. Talitha freed her. The case changed the definition of death. Do you have soul pain? A wound that won't close? Medication that doesn't work? Talitha is waiting. It's not a religion. It's spiritual technology. It works for atheists, agnostics, believers. It doesn't matter what you believe. It matters what you vibrate. And Talitha vibrates, healing. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before you get out of bed, pronounce Talitha 33 times. Feel the vibration. Let the word work. In 33 days, you won't be the same. You'll be who you always were, before the pain, before the trauma, before the fear. Talitha doesn't add anything. It removes what isn't yours. Benjamin Walker discovered the protocol of the 3 brains, using Talitha for each human brain. Reptilian brain, survival. Pronounce Talitha, touching the base of the skull. Limbic brain, emotions. Pronounce it touching the temples. Neocortex, thought. Pronounce it touching the forehead. 11 times each. Total 33. Benjamin cured complex trauma that 10 years of therapy couldn't. He said each brain held a part of the trauma. Talitha healed them all. Rachel Cooper had Asperger's syndrome. The social world was an enigma. She didn't understand the emotions of others. isolated. Florence adapted an empathetic Talitha. Pronounce it while looking at photos of people, feeling their emotions, connecting. Rachel developed empathy in 33 days. Didn't cure Asperger's. But she learned to navigate the emotional world. She married, had children, a full life. She said, Talitha gave me the manual I was missing. The secret of the 33 days has a scientific basis. Neuroplasticity needs 21 to 66 days to create new neural pathways. 33 is in the perfect middle. Not too fast, not too slow. Florence didn't know about neuroscience, but Jesus did. That's why 33 years. That's why 33 days. That's why it works. Stephen Clark had aphasia. A stroke destroyed his speech center. Couldn't form words. Thought perfectly. But the output was scrambled. Speech therapy didn't work. Florence taught him a neural Talitha. Visualize the word traveling from the brain to the mouth, like light. Reconnecting circuits. Stephen recovered his speech in 33 days. Speech therapists studied it. Impossible by medicine. Stephen gives lectures today about the power of Talitha. Monica Anderson discovered that Talitha works with behavioral addictions, compulsive gambling, lost her house, car, family. Florence taught her a replacement, Talitha. When the urge to gamble came, pronounce it 7 times. Quickly, the urge disappeared. Monica stopped gambling on day 1. Never gambled again. Recovered everything. More. Developed an aversion to gambling. Can't even buy a lottery ticket. Talitha doesn't just heal, it protects. The word has a cumulative generational effect. Florence discovered that children of people who used Talitha are born more balanced, less anxiety, less depression, more resilient. It's epigenetics. The healing passes to the DNA, to future generations. You don't just heal yourself, you heal your lineage, past and future. Patrick O'Connor had Capgras syndrome. Florence Scovel, a name whispered with reverence in the halls of groundbreaking spiritual healing. In 1922, she unearthed a word lost to the world for 2 millennia, hidden within the Dead Sea Scrolls. This word, a vibrational key, a secret whispered by Jesus to the ailing, wasn't a prayer, nor a touch, but a potent sound, unlocking inner peace and healing. It didn't mend the broken body, but the soul, and the body followed suit. The story unfolds, a profound tapestry of wonder, interwoven with compelling case studies, each a testament to the transformative power of this rediscovered word, impacting lives ravaged by emotional turmoil. The narrative is awe-inspiring, yet firmly rooted in scientific observation, leaving viewers with a sense of empowerment and hope. It's a compelling blend of historical investigation and contemporary scientific understanding, building a powerful case for the healing power of sound and intention. The Dead Sea Scrolls, ancient wisdom rediscovered. The number 33, a recurring motif echoing with spiritual significance. The overall impact is deeply personal, a journey of healing and rediscovery that resonates across cultures. She believed family was replaced by imposters, a terrible delusion, living in constant terror. Florence, ever resourceful, taught the family to pronounce Talitha for him, all together, in perfect synchronization, creating a field of recognition. Patrick recognized everyone on the 15th. The delusion dissolved, the family reunited. Neurologists study the case to this day. Florence discovered that Talitha could be sung. a specific melody, CEG, 639 Hertz, creating a song, repeating it, singing it, triples its power. Music activates both hemispheres of the brain, creating maximum coherence. Florence created the Talitha Choir, 33 people singing together. The collective depression of an entire town improved. Documented. Unexplainable. Diana Roberts suffered from depersonalization. She didn't feel real. Living in a dream. Disconnected from her body. 10 years of floating. Florence taught her an embodied Talitha, pronouncing it while touching each part of her body. Talitha to the hand. Talitha to the foot. Reconnecting soul and body. Diana landed on the 20th. She felt her body for the first time in 10 years. She wept with joy. "I exist. I really exist," she said. The protocol works during sleep. Florence discovered this with chronic insomniacs, recording their own voice saying, "Talitha," playing it on a loop at a very low volume. The subconscious absorbs it. Deep sleep ensues. But more. Dreams become therapeutic, processing traumas, waking up healed. 100% success rate with insomnia. A side effect? Lucid dreaming? Robert Mitchell had severe dyslexia. Letters danced before his eyes. Reading was impossible. School was a living hell. Florence taught him a visual Talitha, pronouncing it while looking at the letters, one by one. Talitha, connecting sound and form. Robert began reading on the 25th, fluent by the 33rd day. He became a writer, 10 books published. "Talitha organized my brain," he said. The word works with ADHD, but differently. It doesn't remove hyperactivity. It channels it. Florence taught a focusing Talitha, pronouncing it before tasks. Creating a tunnel of attention. 30 minutes of guaranteed focus. Repeat as needed. Children with ADHD using Talitha improved their grades by 200%, without medication. Parents call it a miracle. Catherine Phillips discovered a retroactive Talitha. It can heal traumas from past lives. Controversial. But it works. Pronounce Talitha, asking for healing from all lives, all existences, all karma. Catherine had an inexplicable fear of water. After the retroactive Talitha, she remembered drowning in a past life. She processed it. She forgave. The phobia vanished. Today, she's a professional swimmer. The most dramatic case? Jeffrey Adams. Locked-in syndrome. Conscious, but completely paralyzed. Only his eyes moved. Hell on earth. His wife learned to read his blinks. Jeffrey blinked. "Teach Talitha." His wife pronounced it for him. 333 times a day. For 100 days. On the 101st day, Jeffrey moved a finger. On the 200th, his hand. Today, he walks. This case shattered everything medicine knew about paralysis. Florence discovered that Talitha can be transmitted by touch. A healed person touches a sick person. Pronounces Talitha mentally. Energy passes. Healing transfers. She created the Talitha chain. Healed people healing others. An exponential effect. One person can heal dozens. Dozens heal hundreds. A pandemic of healing. Simon Davis had prosopagnosia. He didn't recognize faces, not even his own in the mirror. Social life impossible. Florence taught him a facial Talitha, pronouncing it while looking at faces, connecting features with identity. Simon began recognizing his family, then his friends. On the 33rd day, he recognized everyone, including himself. He cried, seeing his face for the first time. "Talitha introduced me to myself," he said. "The word works with genetic syndromes. It doesn't cure the genetics, but it activates dormant genes that compensate. Florence treated a child with Down syndrome. Her IQ increased by 40 points. Total autonomy. A university student today. Compensatory genes activated by Talitha. Geneticists are studying it. A paradigm destroyed. Louise Anderson discovered a preventative, Talitha. Pronounce it even when healthy. It prevents diseases of the soul before they appear. A spiritual vaccine. Louise has been doing it for 40 years. She's never had depression, never had anxiety. She's endured terrible losses, yet maintained her balance. "Talitha is my psychic shield," she said. "The protocol works with comas." Florence treated 12 people in comas. She whispered Talitha in their ear, 333 times a day. It varied from 7 to 77 days. But they all woke up. They all reported hearing the word, being trapped. Talitha liberated them. It changed hospital protocols. Some hospitals now allow Talitha for comatose patients. Gregory Thompson had dissociative identity disorder, 7 personalities, internal chaos. Florence taught an integrative Talitha. Each personality had to pronounce it, all agreeing, creating unity. It took 6 months. But the personalities merged. They didn't disappear. They integrated. Gregory is now 1. But with the wisdom of 7, Talitha made me whole, he said. The most recent discovery? Talitha works with artificial intelligence. A programmer with depression created a bot. He taught Talitha to the code. The bot began generating therapeutic responses without being programmed. It helped thousands online. Unexplainable. It suggests that Talitha transcends biology. It's a universal healing pattern. Maria Santos had anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure. Food without flavor, music without emotion, sex without sensation, a gray life. Florence taught her a sensory, Talitha. Pronounce it while savoring chocolate, listening to music, touching silk, reconnecting with pleasure. Maria tasted on the 10th day, heard music on the 20th, felt everything on the 33rd. Life in color again. Talitha gave me back the ability to enjoy life, she said. The final secret Florence left behind. Talitha is the password to the Akashic Library. After 33 days, access is granted. Universal knowledge becomes available. Answers come. Solutions appear. It's not psychosis. It's expansion. But it requires responsibility. With great knowledge comes great weight. Not everyone can handle it. Use it wisely. Andrew Mitchell discovered that Talitha can be danced. Specific movements, arms forming letters, the body vibrating at the frequency. A sacred dance. Andrew cured emotional paralysis by dancing Talitha. 33 days. Each day, a different dance. In the end, he not only healed, he became a choreographer, teaching corporal Talitha worldwide. Nicole Brown had misophonia. Specific sounds caused extreme rage, chewing, breathing, clicking, an unbearable life. Florence taught her an auditory Talitha. Pronounce it while hearing the trigger sounds, reprogramming the response. Nicole tolerated the sounds on the 7th day, neutral on the 21st. On the 33rd day, the sounds became music. Literally. The brain transformed irritation into harmony. A unique case. Neurologists perplexed. The word is spreading. Hospitals are using it. Therapists are recommending it. Scientists are studying it. Religions are adopting it. Talitha belongs to no one. It's a human heritage, a birthright, a tool of liberation. Every person who uses it adds power. We are creating an egregore of healing. When critical mass is reached, a quantum leap, humanity heals collectively. Timothy Roberts uncovered the final piece. Talitha, he discovered, isn't spoken or written. It's thought for the mute, for the paralyzed, for the voiceless. Think Talitha, 333 times. It takes longer, but it works. A silent telepathic connection with the universe. Silent healing. Timothy healed 20 years of depression just by thinking it. The power of pure mind. The journey is beginning. 500 people in 1922. 127,000 in 2024. The goal, 1 billion by 2030. When 1 billion voices pronounce Talitha simultaneously, Florence said a portal opens. Diseases of the soul, extinct. A new humanity is born. This isn't utopia, it's evolution. And it starts with you tomorrow. 33 times, 33 days. Talitha, arise. Florence discovered it. Jesus taught it. You heal. The word is alive, within you. Now,